where the art comes to life, the neighbors not so much. So this is my first live, so bear with me. I am going to be showing you guys how to make one of my spiders. It started out, they were Christmas spiders. I heard a story that people were hanging beaded spiders in their trees based on a story that came out of Ukraine. This is the version I heard. And the story was that a poor family couldn't afford ornaments or to buy a tree. So their dad went out and cut down a tree out of the forest and brought it in and set it up. And they all went to bed. And in the morning, when they turned the lights on, all of the spiders that had lived in the tree came out in the night and spun webs all over the tree. And when they turned the light on, it sparkled on the webs. And so after that, everyone put the spiders in the trees. So that's where the tinsel came from idea, I suppose. I mean, I'm sure there's other stories. So anyway, I was making Christmas spiders. Since then, I've done every kind of spider. They don't just look like Christmas ornaments. I just most recently did a vampire spider for Halloween, and that one sold pretty quickly. So today we're going to be doing a spider with this metal body, and I'm going to be using um, aura beads. They've been called a lot of different things. Also rainbow beads, but here, I don't know if you guys can tell, but they just look clear until light hits them. And then depending on what is in the room, they shine that color out whenever you move them. So we're going to be using these in 3 different sizes, 6, 8, and 10. I'm using 22 gauge wire, and then I'm also using these head pins, I think that's what they're called. And then I'm using bicone beads in purple. And then I have a couple of the colored aura beads. Right, I'm going to call them rainbow beads because that just feels better. Not better, but you know, easier. And then I have also these crystals. And all of this stuff, basically, you can get off of Amazon. I think pretty much all of this I did today. These all came in. But you can also get your beads at yard sales, thrift stores, Goodwill, whatever. You can even get some beads at the Dollar Tree, where you can get necklaces and stuff that you're not wearing and take them apart and do that. So anyway, so I start with the body, and I use a pin that already has the loop on it. Let me put my glasses on so ow, I can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so this is what the pin looks like. It's already got the loop on it. And if this doesn't fit, it's a loop. That does. So see, I don't really have to put anything there. And normally I add a little end cap. 1 second. See if I can find the end caps. I usually put an end cap, but because that one is really nice already, I probably won't put one, but we might use it somewhere else on the spider. So I should have already had those ready. That's the joy of doing a live, I guess. You don't get to decide to just get up and leave the table. Okay, I'm heading back. Bear with me. Again, first live video, so. Okay, so I have end caps. That's what I call them anyway. And then I also wanted to show you the tools that we're going to be using. So this, I call loop pliers. So you put the wire in. Let me do it on these. All right, so you put the wire in here and go through until it's as long as you want it to be, you know, once you have your beads on this end. And then when you squeeze like that, you have a loop on the end. So you don't have to fuss so much with this thing. It cuts it and does everything. So we're going to be using that. And then I have some pliers, 2 different kinds, and some wire cutters. So that's what we're going to be using. All right, so I think we're going to use a crystal for the spider's head. Let's see what we have here. We'll bring some out. All right, this one looks good. And let's use some of these caps here. So when I say end caps, this is what I'm talking about. They come in all different kinds. They're gold, they're flowers, they're gothic, they're all just a bunch of different. And they go on either end of the bead just to make it prettier. So I'm going to go with this one. So I need to find another one that matches it. Let's see. There we go. All right, so then I'm going to put this here, and then a crystal, and then the other cap. And this is what she's going to look like. Okay, so then we're going to take our little loop plier, put that in there. You want to pull it kind of tight, not too tight because you still have to get the legs in there. And if you're using your loop maker here, then again, you want to make sure just to leave a little bit of room so that you can get the legs in there, because you can always tighten it up a little bit more, but you don't want to wind it too much. All right, so I'm going to go like that. And pull it out here. Sometimes when you use that little thing, you still have to bend it in just a little bit. That's right here. All right, so there's her body. All right, so the way that I do the legs, everybody does things differently. I did them all different ways until I figured out what works best for me, and this is what it is. If you do it a different way, that's okay too. All right, so if you're talking to me, I don't know that you are. I'll have to keep looking. So if you ask a question or say something, every now and then I will, oh, hi, Michaela. Every now and then I'll look at it, but my phone is in a weird place. Okay, so each leg is going to be around 8 inches. You're going to cut off some, but it's better to have too much than not enough. So cut 4 of these. So yes, I live above a funeral home. I've been here for 5 years. And yes, some strange things have happened, and they continue to happen. Oddly enough, though, there is a funeral going on right now downstairs, and it's very quiet. There's not a lot of stuff going on, not energy, you know what I mean? Okay, so you take all of them like this, and then bring these 2 ends together, and go like that. And then I like to take the plier that makes loops like that, and you have to hold it really tight. Oops. Like that, didn't do it. Hold it nice and tight and then squeeze down so that it goes like that. That way when you put the legs in between here, in between the head and the body, it's just a little easier to get the legs wrapped around. All right, so some people do all 4 legs at once and then they just wrap it around and bam, that's done. I have found that it's difficult to get the legs to go in the right direction when you do it that way. So I do 2 and 2. I do the 2 front legs, and then I do the 2 back legs. And the front legs, I twist from the top like that, and then take my 2 pairs of pliers, this, and I give it a nice pull. And then those legs go forward. And then you look and see where you put it over. And so I put it over here and wrapped it here. So now I'm going to put it over here and wrap it under. And that just keeps the legs in place better. And again, your legs go in the right direction. All right. So I'm going to pull them. So I do sell my spiders. If you're wondering if you can sell your spiders, yeah, people love them. There's a little cafe here that buys them almost daily, and I mail them to people and all kinds of stuff. So people actually love it, which is nice because I do this for anxiety because I don't want to take medicine, and so it's good to get a couple dollars to keep buying more beads. I also do junk journaling, and so that also helps. Okay, so here's our spider so far. She's already kind of beautiful. So, 67. 67. I don't know what 67 is. Is that 67 the thing that, with the, was it a basketball player? 6'7", or I don't know. Anyway, if it is, I don't know. I'm old. All right, so now we're going to start putting the beads. And I start with seed beads. I wondered if I had everything I needed when I first started this today, and I guess I didn't. All right, so let's, there it is. Hold on one second. All right. This is a good trial run. Next time I'll know I need to get all my stuff together first. Okay. So we're going to use seed beads first. And the reason that I do that is because if you try to cram other beads in there first, then closer to the body, then the legs aren't going to stay where they are. They're going to be all wonky. Yes, wonky is a word. So I'm going to use these. All right. So I do one leg first just to get the pattern. I used to figure out a pattern here on my board and then lay out 8 legs, and I just realized that I can do it this way. So I do the first one, and then I do 2 at a time, and it goes a little bit quicker. So, all right, so first I put 4 or 5 seed beads. You'll know how many you need once you get it going. Get on there, yeah. And that's not even the right leg. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. This gets a little trying when you have 55-year-old eyeballs. So, okay. So now we have 4 seed beads, and see how it's away from the body? And then when I put a bigger bead here, there's also going to be here, here, and here, so it's not going to cram them. All right, so we'll move that to the side, and then we'll start building her. All right, I am going to use a color first. So let's do purple. Make sure I have 8. Yep. All right. Here. Look how pretty Charity is. I love it. All right. Do that. Some of these out. These are the dark purple bicone beads. Hold on and I'll show you what it looks like. We're going to use those. And then we're also going to use the smaller ones. And they are, nope, where'd they go? Well, maybe we're not going to use those because I can't find them. So we'll use something else. Oh, here they are. I put them up there so they wouldn't fall. All right, so then I just have the same color. They're just smaller. All right, so let's do, whoa, there's that. All right, so I think I'm going to use the little end caps. When you do this, you kind of learn as you go how you want it to look. So, you know, you might put a bead on there and then go, oh, I would, you know, like to do something different, and that's okay. So it's better to do it on the first one instead of do all of them and then not like what you've done. So, all right, so we're going to get 2 of the same. Let's see. I'm excited that I finally get to do a live. I've been waiting. I thought all I had to do was get 50 subscribers, and then I still couldn't do it. And then finally someone said, oh, you have to go on your laptop or computer the first time to do it. And so it worked out, and now I can do it. Okay, so there she is with the caps in between the bead. That's going to be so pretty. All right, so now we're going to do a small purple bicone, and then let's see here. I'm gonna have beads everywhere because I'm not really doing what I should here. All right, now we're going to use the Aurora beads or the rainbow beads, and this is a 6mm. Looks like that. And then we're going to do the 10. That. then we'll do another, let's see, 6. There we go. And then I'm going to do another crystal. Yeah, that's going to be pretty. We're going to use a lot of the Aurora beads on this, so it's going to be heavy, but it's going to be really pretty. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to take this off and add another purple one, like that. And we're going to put this back on, crystal, and add another 6mm. And then the Aurora bead. And then the bigger one. This is the 10mm. Then we're going to go 6. That's what it's looking like. And then I'm going to add 4 seed beads. Put that on there. So like I said, I get a lot of my beads from crafts, or not from craft stores, from thrift stores, and I paint houses for people, and sometimes they're getting rid of things that I can use, you know, any kind of old jewelry. I prefer to get the old jewelry because then they're beads that not everyone has. Looking for my wire cutters here, there. Okay, so I'm going to cut some of the wire off, and then I'm going to use these loop pliers, and I've gone about this far up for my seed bead. Some people just do it once, close down to it. I like to do it all the way down, just in case this wire ever gets snagged on anything or whatever. It's just going to pull it a little bit, and it's not going to drop all your beads. All right, so there's her first leg. She's going to be beautiful. All right, so let's put some more legs on here. So we start off with the seed beads, 4 of them. One thing about doing the pre-recorded videos is you guys don't have to watch every part of it, but I don't think you can do that with the live. You have to kind of just go ahead and watch it. But that's okay too. So the lady, I don't know if you guys read any of my story or listened on any of my videos, but I live above the funeral home, and since I was young, I've been open to energy from those that have passed, I guess you could say. And so living above the funeral home has been a little bit of a challenge because there's a lot here all of the time. But there's a lady in town that is writing a book on a haunted house that she lives in a town over from me. And I've been there before and done a little, not really a reading. I don't like to call it a reading because I'm not psychic or anything. But everything I said was right. And so the book that she's writing, she's asked if I would be interested in having my little biography in there and you know, tell a little bit about me. And I was like, sure, that would be cool. All right, so I'm going to be in somebody's book. All right, now I have to find the end caps. I should have thought this one through because they're not all going to be the same. Let's see here. I guess this is something I should do, is sort all of these out first at least. What is that? It's like a flower with a leaf. Let's see. All right, we'll do this one. That one. And then purple. The purple Aurora bead. Aura bead. These are so beautiful. Like I was saying before, they pick up the light whatever's in the room. And then like if I had a blue curtain or something red over here, it would pull those colors. Oops, I just lost my seed beads off of that. So yeah, it's really cool. I'm just gonna put different ones. All right, so then we have the seed beads and the purple aura bead, and now we're gonna do the bicone bead. All right, and then we'll do this other one, find two that match. I don't know, are you supposed to keep talking while you're doing these live videos? I don't know. So you guys let me know if you want me to talk more. Let me know if you want me to talk less. Let me know if you want to know anything. Okay, so then purple. Oops. There, get on there, you. Okay. This one. Alright, so we're doing two at a time now. Hands are all dry. Like I said, I paint houses for a living. Today I did some drywall finishing. So it tends to dry out my hands. Alright, so now we're doing the 6-inch aura beads or rainbow bead. I call them bioluminescent when I explain them to someone because I'm from Florida and I know it probably doesn't only happen in Florida, but in the ocean every now and then it looks like the water is glowing, and if anything moves like a fish or you, if you're swimming, then you glow or it glows, and it's just so beautiful. And that's what this reminds me of, is that bioluminescence. Okay, so then we're going to do another purple. There we go. And then crystals. So because I'm using so many of the aura beads and the crystals and the metal body, this will be $25 when I sell it. And I'm only telling you guys that so that if you're making them, you kind of get an idea of what people will pay for the spiders depending on how you've made them. So, and I try to only use glass beads, but every now and then I'll use an acrylic bead as a filler, you know, in between if I need a certain color, and it ends up looking okay. So I just don't do that for the whole spider. All right, so now we're going back to the aura beads. Bend them up a little bit so they don't fall off. Don't want that. Eventually I'll get a better setup so that I can see the, like you guys, because right now you're off to the side, and then I will be able to pay attention if you're talking or asking questions. All right, and so then seed beads. Doing 4 seed beads on each. It's not the fastest. All right, so after I get them on one of them, I go ahead and finish this leg, because if I drop it, I don't want to have to pick up the seed beads that were lost on that one. Okay. And then I just curl it all the way down. And then if you want to add a little bit of extra safety to it, I guess, you can use a jewelry or metal glue. I have it and I'll show it to you. And on the ends, just in case it ever, you know, like I said before, the wire gets pulled or anything, you won't lose your beads. I think it's Aleene's jewelry and metal glue is what it's called. I'll show you in a second. I think it's just super glue because that's exactly what it smells like, and it's exactly what it acts like. It doesn't dry right away on your project, but touch it and you're stuck to whatever it is that you were working on. So I think it's like super glue. All right. I'm going to wind this one down. Okay, so now we have 3 legs and the body. All right, it's time to go and do 2 more legs. Start with 4 seed beads. And I've done all different colors. It doesn't even matter. I mean, if you are making one for yourself and you don't have a whole lot of the same thing, it doesn't matter what you put on there. You know, something I am looking for is an old chandelier. I see people buying them for like $10, so I can take them off to use as the crystal dangle from the spider. Man, that would just be so beautiful. So that's what I'm looking for. That's what I paint on me from work today. Alright, so we have the seed beads, and you want to get them as close to the body as you can so that the legs all go the right way. Right, then we're going to use these little caps. This one's for that one. And then we're going to do the purple, whatever bead, aurora bead, aura. Oops, got that one. Put this one there. And you might have to adjust the legs once you get everything on there, and that's okay. Alright, so then we'll put this, this one, and this one. Alright, then we're using the purple bicone bead. And then a 6mm. And then a 10. And the reason that I use the 22 gauge instead of the thinner wire is because I have found that the legs stay. Like my first spider that I did, the legs are all wobbly. When you go like this, they really wobble and you can't really shape them. But with this 22 gauge wire, you can. So that's why I use the thicker wire. I'm sure there is a purpose for the thinner, but it's not for me. Okay, and then the purple. So there's a lot of people on YouTube that make these spiders, I've noticed. Alright, so the crystal. I don't know what the difference is or if there is a difference between everybody. But whoever's watching mine, thank you for choosing to watch mine. And then 10 again. 6. And then seed beads. Okay. Oops. My craft room has so many beads on the floor. I could probably make 5 spiders out of what I pick up off the floor. And I have a little dog that's like a vacuum cleaner, so I have to pick up the bigger ones because otherwise she tries to eat them. You guys will meet her one day. Her name is Maggie. I used to have an 80-pound pit bull named Nanook. Had her for 13 years, and a little over a year and a half ago, she passed away. And I thought, I'm never getting another dog because my heart was so broken. And then someone showed me a picture of Maggie. She was 10 weeks old and about 1.5 pounds. And now she's a little over a year old and she's 7 pounds. But she's a Chihuahua Maltese. Her hair looks like she's from the crazy hospital, the insane asylum. She just, no matter what I do, I put conditioner in it, I do everything I can. She just always looks like a crazy person. Okay, so now we have 2 front legs and 1 back leg. There she is, and she's pretty heavy, so we'll get her legs going in the right ways as soon as we get them finished. All right, turn that way. Okay. So I have done it where I do the front leg and then I do all 3, but with her being so heavy, it's easier to just do the legs that stick it up. All right, there's 4. And I've started doing some, like most of them have a crystal hanging from it so that you can use it as like a sun catcher, the whole thing. But I've started adding different things, like I went to Hobby Lobby and got have a disco ball that I used on one. Actually, I didn't buy it. My daughter-in-law and my son did. And some little resin popcorns and different things, and they are really cute. So I'll be making more of those. All right, so let's get more of these that are matching. I think my biggest lesson today on my first video is to get all of these ready because they were just in pile. All right. There's that one. And the purple one. Oops. And then, which one was that? We're going to go with this. There we go. And this one. And you don't have to use these little end caps. I just like them because they make it shiny. Okay. So then move the legs around so that the beads can settle. So just like that, whoops, darn it. I think the front leg is going to become the second leg, but we'll see. All right, upside down. Darn it. There we go. Just a different one. Okay. So then the purple. And 4 beads. If you haven't seen these in person, you really should if you do beaded things because they are just beautiful. I'll show you when it's done and I'll hold it up in the light a little bit for you. You can see all the different colors that come from this. It's just gorgeous. The first one that I made, I put it up for sale and then about a half hour later I took it back down because I wanted to keep it for myself. Sorry, I was getting a call. Okay, we're getting close to being done. Thank you for whoever is hanging in there or comes back to watch it. Alright, so then 2 more of these. These. You know, I'm not even sure what started me on YouTube. I think because I have a son who does videos, but he really does his on Instagram. I don't know if he has them on YouTube. I thought, why not do the videos and share what I'm making? So I did. And then when I started getting subscribers, I was like, well, that's cool. So here I am making videos in my craft room. And my craft room, little story, I have a sister named Loretta that has a beautiful craft room. It's amazing. And she always made handmade cards throughout the year and sent them. She just does that because it's sweet. And I thought, I'm going to go buy the stuff to make one card. If you guys could see my craft room right now, because I bought enough to make one card, Lord, it's insane. The amount of stuff that is in this room. Sometimes I say, well, I think I have enough. I don't need anything else in this room. And then yesterday, I bought a little sewing machine to sew paper. So I never really have enough. I think it might be a little bit of a problem, but at least I'm not out gambling or drinking or anything. Not that any of it is bad for you or whatever, but it's not for me. Anyway, yeah, so alright, here she is so far. She looks a little crazy because her legs aren't where they're supposed to be yet. But man, she weighs quite a bit. I have to use some good string to hold her. Alright, last leg. Oops. Seed beads everywhere. Two more. So again, it's 4 seed beads to start, and you'll know if you need more or less depending on what size beads you're going to use for the legs. But because mine are a little bit bigger, I don't want them all crammed in there. Okay, so that's seed bead, and then cap and purple. And the cap and the purple bicone and 6mm floral bead, and then 10, then another 6, another purple bicone, and then 6, 10, 6, and seed beads. Just flip them everywhere. There we go. So cut off a little bit and wind it down. Okay, so here she is. Let's get her straightened out. So I just start with the front legs, which ones I want that to be. She's going to be hanging down like this. So those are going to be her front legs. And then these are going to be her second legs. And then her back legs here. And those there. And then you can decide how you want them. So typically I go from the big bead here and I bend in a little bit. Like that, because I'm going to put these 2 legs together with the string, and so then I'm going to go the big bead and bend, big bead and bend, so it looks like that. And then here these legs are going to come together. Oh, you know what I forgot? Darn it, I forgot to put the crystals in. Well, it's a good thing that I left the wires long. How many did I miss? 3. Okay, well, I'll fix that off camera. So yeah, I did forget to put these crystals on these last 3 legs. All right, so that's what she looks like. And then we're gonna take jump rings, which are right, let's see, jump rings here. Use the shiny ones. So you go through the 2 loops that you made at the bottom of the feet and close it. And then push a little bit till you get the shape of the arms that you want. And it looks like that. And then put one on the back of the body at the butt. That's where you're going to hang the string from. Go through that loop. You want to get that as close as you can because the fishing line is thin and will kind of sometimes maybe go through that. So then that's what that looks like there. All right. So then you're going to find the crystal or whatever you want to use to hang from the spider. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Oh my God. We could use one of these. Let's do that. All right, so then you're going to take one of your pins and add your crystal. Just looks like that. And you can either use your wire cutters and clip it down, or if you have one of these tools that is a loop plier, use that and get it as close as you can and make the loop. And if you have to, close it a little bit more. Okay, so that's what that looks like. Then I'm going to take another jump ring. Loop it through here. And then I'm going to put it through the jump ring that is on the front legs. Okay. And so that's what she looks like. And you can do a bigger crystal or you can anything. You can hang a charm from there. All right, so then you're going to get your string. Let's see. Okay, so I just use a fishing line. And you make it as long as you want it to be wherever you're going to hang it from. And loop it through the jump ring that is at the back of the body on the butt of the spider. And I just tie it 3 times just to be sure. And then cut the short one. Make sure it's the short one because if you got the long one, you're going to start over. All right, then I go to the other end and make a loop. Tie it around. And it goes like that. So here she is. Spider. And now I have to go back and fix the crystals. But that's how you do it. And that's what she looks like. Thank you guys so much for watching. And keep an eye out for me. I will get better at this. And I will have all my supplies ready. And like I said, sometimes I do junk journaling. So if you're into that or you want to know about it, go ahead and look at some of my videos and it will kind of show you what I do. And then also, like I said, I bought a little sewing machine so that I can edge some of the junk journal things. So that's going to be interesting because I don't sew, but I'm going to be. So that, yeah. Anyway, thank you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day and I'll probably see you tomorrow. Bye.